Good evening and welcome to Admissions Live, the weekly web show for college admissions professionals. We are part of the Higher Ed Live network, where we're dedicated to digital development and professional empowerment. We've got Chris Dorso and Nicole Antini on tonight's show, and we're introducing a new connection for college admission and counseling young professionals. We're going to talk about NACAC's new innovative technology group that's already connected nearly 100 inspired community members with social media. And I want to get right to the show, but we can't do that without giving a huge sponsor shout out to those who make Admissions Live possible. Be sure to stay tuned in throughout the whole show. Follow along with the Admissions Live hashtag. I've got a special piece of social media research that's been leaked to me a day early, and I'm going to share that with you tonight. Admissions Live is sponsored by Welcome to College, who believe it's all in the visit and have created web and mobile applications to help students and institutions measure and manage their most critical recruitment tool, the college visit. Send them an email with the top 10 reasons prospective students should visit your campus this fall, and the Welcome to College team will add those reasons to your profile page on the Welcome to College site. Email info@welcometocollege.com. Admissions Live is sponsored by Integral, the creators of the Schools app on Facebook. They've teamed up with Admissions Live sponsor Zinch.com for a special presentation, the 2012 Social Admissions Report, on September 18th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Zinch and Integral joined forces to do an in-depth study on student use of social media during the college search. The special report will give you do's and don'ts of which platforms and initiatives will make an impact in your recruitment cycle. Follow the link that we just tweeted out or email outreach@zinch.com for more details. Zinch.com, not that. Admissions Live is also sponsored by Scavenger, a Google-funded mobile game about going places, doing challenges, and earning points. Replacing traditional campus tours with Scavenger is easy and fun. Check out how Oakland University did it. We just sent out a tweet with the link to that. I absolutely want to dive into the show. I have repeat guests coming back for you tonight. Chris Dorso, the Assistant Director of Admissions at Stony Brook University, and Nicole Antini, the Senior Assistant Director of Admissions at Champlain College. Chris and Nicole, as I said, are returning to Admissions Live once again at the Young Professionals convening at NACAC headquarters this summer. We got together and we were asked to lead an innovative technology team to explore new platforms to increase engagement with NACAC and strengthen the NACAC community. So we decided to start with a focus on young professionals, and I am getting the team together tonight to tell you all what we have in store. So without further ado, let's welcome to the show Chris Dorso. You're on camera now. This is our first attempt at a Google Hangout on Admissions Live, so we're going to be bringing up both guests simultaneously, but not exactly everyone on camera at the same time. So bear with me as we figure that out. Chris, welcome. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me back. I love being a part of this organization, being a part of the show.
Yeah, awesome. Nicole, you want to say hello? Get yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hi. Yeah, I'm Nicole, and yeah, it's my third time, I guess, getting to be on Admissions Live. It's pretty cool. Feeling like a, Admissions Live VIP.
A regular.
Yeah, regular. It's pretty exciting.
Well, we love to have you. So, I want to encourage everyone to use the NACACYP hashtag throughout the show tonight. I know we like using the Admissions Live hashtag, but this is really about branding a new community for young professionals surrounded in that NACAC organization. So please use that NACACYP hashtag when you're tweeting tonight. And I want to get your thoughts, Chris and Nicole, about why we thought it was important to start with the young professional community.
Well, I mean, I said when we spoke yesterday, when it comes to innovative technology, it seems like young professionals tend to be the ones who drive the bus, and I think it's important to get community going. I mean, the community already exists, but to connect each other. with those we know and those we don't know to share innovative ideas and best practices. There's a lot out there that we're all doing. There's a lot out there that some of us are doing that others of us could be doing. And it's really just about making connections. That's what we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Chris said. And also, I realize that I think, especially with the young professionals in the industry, we find the issues that we kind of latch onto and really want to fight to kind of bring to the forefront and do more about. And I think there's a lot of energy in that group that talks with each other at college fairs. We see each other all the time. And so it's easy to be able to spread ideas and spread this sense of community further. It's something we need. I mean, we all have the same stories from the road and from families we talk to and just all these other mission stories we share. So it's definitely important to have something there that we can all kind of be a part of and get to talk, and especially with young professionals to start with.
Yeah, I agree. I think young professionals just seem like the right place to start with community building. Mm-hmm. And when we were put together as a team at NACAC, they were really looking to us because we seemed to get the hang of this social media thing a little bit quicker than others. And so I think they were really looking to us to leverage social media and other kinds of innovative technology to help build community. So I'm excited to start with young professionals. I think the NACACYP hashtag is a great step in the right direction, but can we talk a little bit about other social media that's been used successfully by admissions professionals and what ways what other outlets are out there besides the NACACYP hashtag for those young professionals to get involved with?
Yeah, I know that I started once I realized that, admissions was really a good place for me to want to be a part of, and I wanted to learn more. I started following the EM hashtag, or EM chat hashtag, the enrollment management chat hashtag, and that's been incredible. I mean, it's connected me with directors all across the U.S. really, who are really pushing, new ideas on the forefront. And I mean, Twitter in general is such a great place to just be able to share things that's an easy place to kind of look through and grab some great ideas and some great things that other schools are doing.
Yeah, Chris, do you have any others that you're...
Twitter specific or external to Twitter?
Any kinds of other social media that... Or if Twitter is the primary one that you're using, how are you using it?
Well, I think Twitter is what I use most because it's the most immediate. And I think there was a quote I saw many moons ago as one of these social media kinds of things. It was Facebook. What was it? Facebook is who you knew. LinkedIn is who you know. And Twitter is who you want to know. Mm-hmm. And it obviously oversimplifies it, but I think there is a lot of interesting value there in sort of thinking about, first of all, that they're different media and you use different media different ways, but that there's interconnectedness to Twitter and an immediacy to Twitter that you don't get with the other media. So for that, I think it's really valuable, especially considering what we do, being very mobile, and Twitter is very mobile friendly. The fact that we are on the road quite a bit, it's great for quick hits and bursts and those kinds of things. So that's why I think at least Twitter specifically. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, we're all on Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook. There are great Tumblrs out there. There are a number of LinkedIn groups that are fantastic as far as making connections with other professionals in the field, and again, across the spectrum. So it's really just a matter of being out there. Social media is like a puppy, I heard once.
Yeah, how so?
I really want to hear why.
There's no reason.
There is no reason why. It just is.
Awesome.
And if Brandon, one of our sponsors, is watching, then Brandon will know. And maybe he'll tweet and explain himself. I don't know.
All right, B. Croak, we're looking to you on that one. Yeah, I do want to share a couple LinkedIn groups that I'm a part of that I think are doing great things, having important conversations. I've been a part of other LinkedIn groups that just don't get it, and they're very spammy, but two that I do want to give shout outs to are Michael Sarik's LinkedIn group, College Counseling for the Rest of Us. He posts a lot of great questions, especially from the college counseling side of things. If you want to connect with independent counselors, high school counselors, and other admissions professionals, and really talk a little bit more about the student perspective from a high school counseling standpoint, I'm going to tweet out the link to his LinkedIn group. He's fantastic. He does a great job moderating those conversations to keep them on point and to keep the spam low. The other one that I'm going to tweet out is Zinch's LinkedIn group. Another great example of good conversation that's happening, very low spam, great connectivity to some key players in our industry. So those are coming out for you. And I do want to address Tumblr. You mentioned Tumblr. What kinds of things do you see of value on Tumblr these days?
From a professional standpoint? Well, look, I mean, we're remiss if we don't talk about the admissions problems Tumblr, because it sort of has exploded these last couple months, and I think a lot of people are going to be talking about it on the road this fall. The thing with this job, the thing with this field, enrollment management admissions as a career, is that nobody grows up and says, I want to be an admissions counselor. I have never met anybody coming out of high school who says, you know what, I want your job. So you find folks who, it's the whole, you do it for a couple years until you move on and do something better, or you've been doing it for 15 years like the three of us have. So there's doesn't seem to be a whole lot of middle ground, and I don't say that as a negative, because I think there's enormous value in what we do and what we bring to the table and how we're viewed by counselors, by students, by administrators, by our colleagues at our campuses and administrative offices and things like that. So the thing with the admissions problems, Tumblr specifically, is it's hilarious, and it says the things anonymously that we could never say, or the things that we do say to ourselves, but you would never like tweet or throw up on Facebook a piece of an essay from a student that you got, because you're not going to put the smart folks aren't going to do that and put their name to it, because you'd never put yourself in that kind of a situation. But when you kind of put that anonymity behind it, it works. It absolutely works, and it sort of creates that shared community that we're all looking at, that we're all living in.
Exactly. I have to agree with the amount of conversation that's happened around this. As far as social media goes, I haven't seen anything pick up in my office or among my peers like that admissions problems Tumblr, and I think it says a lot about our industry, what we think is funny. You take it all with a grain of salt. It's meant to be an entertaining venue, not one for serious conversation, and it is pretty hilarious. So if you haven't seen it yet, young professionals, head on over there, have a good laugh at your own expense.
That's not to say there can't be serious discussion that comes from it, because there was that issue. I don't know if you want to call it an issue, whatever it was, a couple months back, where they posted. It was a piece of an essay, right? It was a piece of an essay that they posted, yes. And there was some pushback from colleagues, from whom I have a great deal of respect for,
yes.
On the student affairs side of the house. Who were, this is completely unprofessional, and how could you do this, and you never put a student in that kind of situation. So, I mean, real issues do come up, and if that's a stimulus for discussion of things like FERPA and professionalism and things like that among young professionals in the office, and then for young professionals to have with other colleagues, older colleagues in their office or on the road, then yeah, there's even more value in there than you even think, more than just the funny piece.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I think there's something to be said about it, too. It's funny because, Ashley, you said, it's spreading like wildfire in social media, but it's equally spreading like wildfire among people that aren't on Twitter and aren't necessarily in the Facebook group. I was involved in one of the College Board programs, and everybody that was out there all knew about admission problems, and we're all laughing about it. When I was at the annual meeting and conference this year, it was the talk that everybody was talking about. And it's pretty funny to see that it's one of those few social media things that's striking a chord with social media minded people and non-social media minded people alike.
Definitely. Yeah, I have to absolutely agree. So it's interesting to see when we're tasked with community building. I think we have our our eyes on the pulse of things that are really relating to folks. It looks like we might have just lost Chris,
Oh, no.
so I'm going to get him back in here. But I'm going to shoot this next question to you then,
Sure.
Nicole. When we talk about using this new NACACYP hashtag, we're introducing it tonight. What kind of conversation do you expect to have around that hashtag? What kinds of things do you expect to take place there?
Oh, all sorts of things. I mean, definitely, probably still a little bit of that kind of not really heavy venting necessarily, but, we all, like Chris said, we all have these kind of shared war stories coming out of being in such a unique career that I think it's going to be a good place for us all to kind of commiserate, talk, share about, what kind of things we're having happening. Also, I'm hoping, it's especially if it's going to be used kind of across the U.S., it would be great if, we can reach out when we're on the road and traveling and reach out to each other for help on, what Chris is furiously typing over there. Reaching out about, places to go, things to do, and just admissions questions too. Once we get back in our offices and we're reading, I mean, it's a great community to just tap into, to just ask those admission questions that you don't always have somebody in your office right away that you can kind of ask those things. So I'm hoping, at least myself, and expecting those kinds of things.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of camera war between the two of you.
Chris, I apologize. My
that...
connection fuzzed out, and I have no idea what just happened. I apologize. But I'm back.
Yeah, and there's just a little bit of feedback that's hijacking Nicole's camera. But we're asking the question, what kind of conversation do we expect to have over the NACACYP hashtag? And some great points, Nicole, about travel this fall. It's not just a hashtag to be followed by young professionals, but it should be a conversation that happens around young professionals. So is it your, first or second, maybe third time out on the road? Are you in a new travel territory and you're looking to connect with other professionals that have been there before? Are you going through similar things that others might be going through? I think there are so many different ways to use it, but I just want to give folks a sense of what kind of conversation they can have. So definitely a place to ask questions, right?
Definitely.
And hopefully a place that we can share some resources too. So if you are out on the road, if you're reading applications this winter, if you're making plans to travel to conferences, and you want to share resources that you think would be especially helpful to young professionals, that is the place to go.
Yeah, I think it was, sorry to cut you off, but we talked about, during our young professionals convening too, about how NACAC on their site has all these great resources that, you mentioned sharing these resources, and hopefully that'll be a good place that when we find these articles that are going to be really great to get to read and learn a lot from, it's not always that easy to log into the NACAC site right away, but maybe sharing it out there will help.
Awesome. Yep, I agree. I want to talk a little bit about what we expect from the community, what the community expects from us. So if you're tuning in and you have questions about what we're proposing, or if you have questions about what it is that you think we should be connecting each other with, use the Admissions Live hashtag, use the NACACYP hashtag, of course, and fire those questions away. But as we start exploring more engagement platforms for this community, what do you think we're going to move on from? The hashtag is just the start. So where do you see this going? Chris, you want to start off?
Yeah, well, I think it kind of goes back to what I said before, and creating admissions and enrollment as a real vibrant career option for people. Whether you kind of realize it at the time and you're sort of doing this because you're a tour guide and hey, it's a job and I can sort of stay in college for another year, and you sort of get that sort of fringe benefit, or you're doing it because you're pursuing a graduate degree and you're getting that for free. And I'm not saying that isn't important, because it is, but I think it opens up, it's about opening up lines of communication. And not for nothing, but that's what we do professionally. I mean, it's my job to connect applicants with campus. And so this is really sort of an extension of that. We're connecting ourselves with each other, and we do what we do. Part of the reason we're good at what we do is because we can speak and connect and present and be visible and be vocal and not be afraid to ask questions and really put ourselves out there. And this sort of becomes the natural extension of that. And I don't think I know necessarily where it goes in concrete, but I know that there's, the more doors you open, the easier it is to move around and really build that community.
Definitely. Yeah. Do you want to add anything to that, Nicole, before I jump in?
Yeah, well, I just, on top of what Chris said, because I completely agree with everything he said, I think it's also, I'm hoping that wherever this conversation continues to go, I see it as hopefully a continuation of these great conferences that we get to go to once a year. We should be having these conversations all the time. I walk away from the conferences so excited and so, eager to go back in my office and start doing these things and starting these ideas that I'm getting from my colleagues. And I just want to see more of that all the time. And so I'm hoping that this movement of this innovative technology piece and everything can push us towards that.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. We had our annual, I'm the president of NACACYP, which is our SUNY College Admissions Professionals group across the State University of New York system. And one of the things I said at the close of our conference when I took over as president this summer was to take that energy. It's so easy to come home with all that great energy and enthusiasm, and you got pages of notes from the workshops, and then you get back to the office and you're sort of beaten down by phone calls, or you're beaten down by the same old drudgery that happens. This can help keep that vibrant, because you can then follow up with somebody who presented at a conference, or maybe because you didn't get to go to a conference because you can't, not everybody can go to every conference, but you can watch back channels, and you can then, when Nicole's at a workshop at a conference, she can say, oh, you know what, I know Chris was working on this, I can share this information with him because we had the conversation. I know he's, coordinates the bloggers or whatever. And so that's about making those connections.
Yeah, I've actually already seen that happening with Admissions Live. I mean, one of my colleagues works with alumni programs, and he was just saying, what can I do to reach out to more alumni? And I went, actually, I can send you this Admissions Live link. So, things like that. Yep. It's just awesome. We need to share more ideas.
Good. Yeah. Obviously, I'm a big proponent of sharing ideas. That's why I do this every week. But conference coverage is definitely something that I feel really strongly about. And I am saying it here now. We are going to be live streaming from the conference in Denver, the annual NACAC conference. We are going to be bringing you live content. Nicole is going to be with me in Denver, and we're going to be doing a couple live streams for you. We'll be looking for you guys to give us input on what you would like to hear about, what presenters you might want to hear from. So we're going to be chatting over the NACACYP hashtag. I'm definitely going to do a segment just for young professionals, but we're going to be reaching out to a larger group as well. We're going to have Chris on the ground. He's not going to be joining us in Denver, but he's going to be on the ground, joining in the back channel and helping us with that conversation, asking questions where we might be missing things. So as our team expands and our ideas expand and how we can reach and put our community together, got to show you Chris's new lower third here. Chris on the ground.
I'm on the ground.
on the ground floor, where it's really happening while we are a mile high in Denver. We're going to be bringing you that content that you may be missing out if you're not at the national conference. And I can tell you that there's absolutely no way that I would be attending this conference if it weren't for a presentation that I'm giving. This conference is usually reserved for senior staff members in my office. So I feel strongly about offering the content that is there to young professionals that aren't going to be able to access it until they're senior members. So we're going to be bringing you that content live for sure. One of the things that I want to keep working on, maybe getting involved with affiliates. I don't know. We'll see where this can go. But conference coverage, definitely one of them. And I think that we are sensitive to both members of NACAC and non-members of NACAC.
I thought
would you guys agree?
I thought NACAC told us we were not allowed to associate with non-members. Not the case.
We do what we want.
Oh, okay, good. Right.
No, I mean, I believe I am a member of NACAC. That's how strongly my affiliation is with them. I'm actually not quite sure if I have a membership officially right now or not. So I don't have that strong membership affiliation. I would like to. It is something that I would like to grow and build. But in my first 5 years in admissions, I wasn't a NACAC member, and I don't want to alienate those young professionals who aren't members. So this NACACYP hashtag is not an exclusive thing for members only. In fact, it is quite the opposite. We want to be sharing more content with those who aren't in the official membership. Other kinds of things that we're trying to do, I think we're going to try to reach out to affiliates. The three of us are only members of probably a few affiliates, so we're going to be looking to you folks to reach out to others across the country. I can hold down New York State ACAC. Chris, you're involved with the SUNY programs. And are you New England, Nicole?
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
New England? Yeah. So we've got the Northeast locked up pretty well, but we're absolutely going to be looking to you across the country to see how we can help spread this to a nationwide thing, because it doesn't need to just live nationwide, and it also can live within the affiliate programs. Individual affiliates are doing really awesome things that I think should be shared with the rest of us. So hopefully they're as open as NACAC is to letting us in and doing some conference coverage, sharing some resources and that sort of stuff. Any thoughts from you guys about what else you want to see? What kind of feedback you're hoping to hear from people as we try to make plans to move forward?
Yeah, I mean, I love talking to people about this job. I'm like sickly into admissions. It's a little scary. And so I'm just hoping to continue the conversation. No smart remarks yet, Chris. You can wait your turn. And so just looking forward to, I feel like I've learned a lot in my 5 years in the job. So I hope that others are in the same place that I am, that I just want to keep sharing and learning and sharing. And so above all, that's my excitement of this community moving forward. However that happens, whoever gets involved. Yep.
I'll kind of second that. I mean, when I really first started reaching out nationally through Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, the communities that I connected with, that I found first, were the student affairs community, which had already a very vibrant presence online, and the web marketing folks, who also had a very, very vibrant shared community online. And there really wasn't a whole lot of admissions stuff out there. There were a handful of us who were admissions folks, and I kind of latched on with the student affairs folks because I love student affairs and I think it ties very closely with what we do. And I kind of latched in with the marketing web folks because I love the web and I love marketing, and I think it fits very closely with what we do. But
because you're a nerd also, right?
But we're both. And we're a weird mix of both, in that we belong to both, but we also belong to neither at the same time, which is why there needs to be an admissions community out there. And I said this at the convening this summer. It's a little odd what we do because we kind of compete with each other. I mean, there are students who apply to RIT in Stony Brook who are engineers who, we're probably deciding between the two of us. And so there's sort of that reserved, okay, do I want to give Ashley all my trade secrets? Or, do we share resources? Because, it's about creating the best fit for students and all those kinds of things. And so it's really... it's developing, and that's great, and I think we want to push that. We want to encourage that. We want to see, I mean, the trend right now, one of the trends in higher ed is the transparency of the admissions process and all that, and
definitely.
And this could be a vehicle to really help that happen.
I absolutely 100% agree. It was the same pathway that I made it actually here to Admissions Live. I had a great connection with web folks in higher education. I saw that they had an incredibly vibrant community, and I wanted that. So I'm excited to help build that with you all. And if there are things that viewers think that we can do to help connect folks more, please reach out to us. You know our Twitter handles, they've been up on screen. And we also have a Facebook group. We're not going to tweet the link out to you, but if you contact us, we can invite you into our Facebook group where you can have some more great conversations with admissions professionals and invite your colleagues in as well. So ping us for that super secret Facebook group invite, and we'll get that out to you. We'll get an invite out to you there.
And that's not us trying to be secretive or totally flies in the face of what we just said. But but realistically, I mean, you want to you want to be able to share stories and share resources and things with the people that are important, and we don't necessarily want it to be a dumping ground for spammy kinds of things or folks who are not admissions folks. And that's what like I said, we want this to be our home within the, there's plenty of other homes, but we want this to be our home.
Definitely. So we hope you will join us there. We are about wrapped up. If there are any final thoughts from you guys, I would love to turn it over to you and hear them now.
Chris, you want to
go? No, just do it to me first. I think, here's the deal, young professionals. I'm talking to you, eyes on the screen. Like I said a minute ago, there's great value in what we do. It's very easy to get burnt out in the cycles that we run in, and visiting 5 high schools a day and doing a college fair and entering cards and doing all the things that we do over and over, and the stacks of applications and all that. But there's great value, and there's great value in our community, and it's a fantastic job. I mean, I stumbled into admissions because it was the first job that I got when I got my master's degree in student counseling. And it wasn't what I thought I was going to do, but it's fantastic, and I dig the heck out of it. And it's remarkably rewarding on a regular basis, and that's kind of what I want to push with this whole YP angle.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I mean, I agree with you. I like I said, I'm a self-admitted admissions nerd, so right off the bat, clearly I have a love for this area that it's just, it has so many great days. It has its downs, but it has the best up days, I think, of any job that at least I've encountered out there. And I think also to be able to share my final thought, even if you don't want to use social media, even if you kind of shy away from technology, I can't stress the importance of connecting with others in this industry enough. I mean, I can't, even with all my love for admissions, I don't know if I would have been able to make it through some of the harder days with all the people I've met on the road that, I can talk to and commiserate with, and realize that we're all doing this for our students, and we're all doing this for a really important purpose. And so sometimes those out there in our industry can help kind of put us on that back on that track on those rougher days. So even if you don't want to talk to us on Twitter, talk to each other at least.
And that's a really, really valid point. The people that I work with are outstanding, but I think I love my job more because I do connect with people, and I do kind of get out of the office even when I'm not out of the office. And we can get out of one of these murderous staff meetings where it's womp, 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 and there's something funny that somebody said that sparks a discussion that discuss, open, be connected.
That's great. And we're seeing more and more folks who aren't falling into the career like we have. We've got some followers tonight tweeting out about how they're actively planning on moving into the admissions field. So I hope this is inspiring for them. Higher education is such an incredible industry to work in. It is something that's really powerful and really important for our country. We are making a difference doing what we're doing. And when you go to conferences and you meet other people in our industry, these are conferences where you go and you get hugs from people. These are not it's not a stuffy, uptight industry. This is a very loving, caring industry that we work in, and time after time when we are asked what we love about working in higher education, the answer, top answer every single time is the people. So we hope to connect you with more people across the country. We're really, really excited to do it. I want to thank Chris and Nicole for being my VIP returning guests back for a few more times. And you will hear from us around Denver. So please let us know what you would like to hear. Take a look at the speakers that are going to be there. Take a look at the presentations, and we will do our best to get their information out to you so you can be a part of that.
Yes.
All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, we have another great show coming up. I have Justin Bayer, the founder of Welcome to College, and Kelsey Donahue, the president of the Marist Student Ambassador Program, joining the show to talk about college visits. So we're going to talk about what makes or breaks that campus visit with a student coming to your campus for that first time, maybe second time, maybe third time, it doesn't matter. We're talking all about campus visits next week. Before I sign off, I do want to leak that special research that was handed to me. New social media white paper came out from Varsity Outreach, and it's actually coming out tomorrow, but I have it for you tonight. I was able to get my hands on the annual Facebook and admissions white paper from the folks at Varsity Outreach a day early. This year, they've added questions about goals for admissions specific Facebook presences, and they've also probed into a little bit of where the admissions funnel respondents believe Facebook could have and has had an impact. So there's a lot of fun Facebook and admissions stuff in there. Check it out. I'm sending a tweet with that link so you can see it tonight before anybody else. Check that out. We hope that you will join us again next week. Same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern, higheredlive.com.